there, Fiber Junkies! Welcome back to the Color Cauldron. I'm Johanna, the owner and dyer behind Potion Yarns and host of this podcast. This is my husband, Breck, and he's come on the podcast today to help me talk about today's topic. There's something that's been bugging me for a little while in our fiber community, and I'm sure it's bugging a lot of you guys as well. So I wanted to address it, and Breck is here to kind of help me talk through some of the things that are going on with this this recent uptick in nastiness that's happened in our online fiber community. I've been noticing a lot more resentment and fighting online and people becoming very polarized and divided, and I just thought that we needed to take some time to talk about that and really identify what is going on. It's become clear to us that just keeping silent and trying to keep our heads down and stay out of the fray is not a sustainable or healthy way to approach this, and so we finally decided it was time to say something. This pattern of discord in our community can be echoed across our nation, and we're seeing it even stretch into other countries around the world as well. It's not unique to our community, it's in all areas of our nation right now. And I don't think this is something that will just die down if we don't address it. And it's been going on long enough now that when it first started rearing its ugly head, I thought maybe it was just a few people getting some stuff out of their system and we'd return to normal in a few weeks, but it seemed to just pick up steam and keep going. And so I really wanted to do this episode because I wanted to first identify the problem and where it's coming from, and then talk about practical steps that all of us can take to help create a truly inclusive, kind, loving community, one that we can all be happy to be a part of and all can feel proud and equally respected in.
Right. We want to stress our commitment to individual respect, regardless of whatever group you might, whatever group you're affiliated with. We have a vision for an inclusive community where people of all walks of life can come together without pretense and share their joys, their sorrows, their true heart. A community which recognizes people not based on their minority or majority status, but sees the individual as a complex, beautiful amalgamation of various different perspectives and experiences, which you can't assume just based on the color of their skin. Now, we recognize that every one of these categories you could come up with is filled with both virtuous and debased people, right? It is, after all, our individual decisions which define our character, not the color of our skin. So there's a problem in the community. There's severe disharmony. The way I see it, there's a wolf in the pen. This wolf is wearing sheep's clothing. Now, what do I mean when I say that? So we can look at the sheep's clothing as the claims of the wolf to care about diversity, to care about equality, and to advocate for the oppressed. And nobody can argue with those values. I think most of us, if not all of us, hopefully, would agree that those are good values to have. But in the end, they're just claims. What really is important is the actions. So let's look at the actions, and those are born out of the wolf's heart. The wolf will create divisive unrest, publicly calling out small business owners for perceived transgressions, regardless of intent or actual offense.
That is something that I think needs to be addressed as well. The key to what Breck was just saying, there's a couple things that really jumped out to me, and the first one is they're calling people out publicly online. This is not something where they see a red flag or they take offense at something and they contact the business owner privately first and just say, what did you mean by this? Or can you help me understand this? They don't come in a spirit of wanting to learn and approach you privately and discuss it so that any miscommunications could be cleared up relatively easily and smoothly. Instead, the pattern that I am seeing is one of people just immediately calling people out on their public posts, getting on their page and lambasting people on their social media, attacking business websites, attacking business owners, leaving negative reviews, rather than first trying to find a solution individually and privately. The problem with public calling out is that it is so easy to inflame everyone around you. If there is a simple miscommunication or a mistake made on the part of the business owner, and they're like, oh, you're right, I could totally fix that, I'm so sorry, I just misspoke, or I didn't put that up correctly, or whatever. You can easily go around that without dragging all these other people into it and causing a lot of stress and anxiety and pain and division and even arguments and friendships breaking up over this. By calling people out publicly, you are dragging what could be a relatively easy solution into the public sphere. Now, if you approach someone privately and there is no resolution, that might be a time to take it public, but there are several steps you need to go through first by trying to contact the person privately and work through any miscommunications or mistakes to even find out what their intent is. The other thing that jumped out at me from what you were saying is that this is largely centered around small business owners, from what I've seen at least. These are people who have little or no staff, people like me that don't have anybody helping them. They're trying to hold down maybe multiple jobs, maybe running a household with children and a husband, or maybe a single mom trying to work her job dyeing yarn or designing knitwear or whatever, as well as doing her other life things. And she doesn't have a lot of staff. She doesn't have a PR manager. They're on their own already. They often have little or no means that they could use to oppress anyone, and they have no incentive to oppress anyone. As a business owner, our incentive is to make money and to promote our products and to get out there and be seen. We have no incentive to be hurting anyone or marginalizing anyone, and we have no resources or abilities to fight back. This isn't like Google or Walmart or a huge multi-billion-dollar company. This is usually a small individual, a small family trying to make ends meet, and they're wearing every single hat in their business. They're doing the photos, they're doing the production, they're doing the online social media interactions, they're doing the emails, they're doing all of it. And they're going to make mistakes sometimes, and things are going to happen. And these people don't have a lot of money or resources or time to address these problems and to fight back if they are being attacked or their reputations are being dragged through the mud. They really have no recourse.
So let's move on to another outgrowth of the wolf's heart. You'll notice a wolf is bullying and tyrannical. They seek to mar and destroy the reputations of anyone who does not perfectly acquiesce to their subjective moral standards. There's no room for discussion with the wolf. Anyone who disagrees with the wolf is instantly labeled a racist, a bigot, a fill-in-the-blankophobe, and this tactic is used to invalidate their opinion, so that you don't have to actually confront their ideas and deal with them head on.
Resentment and not love is at the heart of this phenomena in our community. Resentment is the character that I see most often in these online fights. It comes up so quickly, and it's this resentful attitude of me against you. It's a very fighting kind of attitude. It's the opposite of love, which is what I really want to see more promoted in our community. Love for everyone, regardless of their group identities, regardless of what they believe, regardless of what religion they practice or don't practice, regardless of who they vote for or whether they vote at all. I want to see love for people, not resentment and fighting and division. And love is the opposite of that. Love is patient and love is kind. Love does not envy. It does not boast. It's not arrogant or rude. It does not insist on its own way. It's not irritable or resentful. So now that we've identified the problems that are at the heart of the wolf, how do we fight it? First, we need to know what the wolf is and who it is not. It is not anyone in our community. I think I'm going to say that again to make sure you got it. This is not any one person or any group of people in our community. This is not people. None of our community should be kicked out or labeled as the wolf or evil or ostracized. That is not what this video is about. Rather, it is a spirit or an attitude that dwells inside all of us. Every single person has the capacity for evil and good. We all have what is known as a shadow side or a dark side. We all have moments where we don't behave out of love, out of respect, out of good things. We can be selfish, we can be arrogant and rude, we can be irritable and resentful. Those are the attitudes or the spirit of the wolf. That's very, very, very different from a person being the enemy. No person in this community is our enemy. Every person in this community is our friend and our family. And we do not attack our family. Think about this like the animated movie Inside Out. If you've seen that film, or if you haven't, maybe go watch it and familiarize yourself. It's really good. As in that film, these attitudes or spirits are dwelling inside all of us. And the ones we feed will manifest in our lives. So the wolves are the spirits that lead us to disharmony and resentment. If we don't want that in our community, we just need to stop feeding the wolf. We need to feed the good attitudes, the good spirits. And that's the part that we can all start working on immediately, no matter where you are. We can feed good spirits. What this looks like is personally in our lives, we choose to embody noble spirits like love, grace, altruism, selflessness, joy. In our community, what that looks like is engage with, promote, and encourage those who embody noble spirits in their lives and business. When you see someone do something loving, tell them thank you. Shine a light on it. Promote that person. Buy from that company. When you see them do something joyful or inclusive, shine a light on that. Share it with people. Tell them about it. And tell them thank you. And then do it yourself. If we can encourage each other in our good things that we're doing, we're more likely to see those good things in our community.
Now, when we say fight the wolf, we think of something very confrontational, very head-on, but really that's not what we want to do. I think it's very important that we do not fight the wolf through direct confrontation, because we all know how easy it is to fall into impulsive bickering and harsh words on social media. It's like social media somehow just pulls that out of you. But really this feeds into the wolf's tactics and actually feeds the wolf itself. So, you know that feeling of angst when you get into a fight on social media, that frustration in your chest, that pulls at you, it eggs you on, you know, we've all felt that. That's the wolf spirit taking hold in your heart. And it pits you against your fellow humans.
Another tactic that I see online a lot is people trying to goad you into immediately responding or saying what they're trying to get you to say by telling you that if you stay silent or if you don't take a stand on this issue, then you're automatically against them and for the other side. This is just another tactic that people use, usually not even realizing that that's what they're doing. But it's another tactic of trying to force you to engage on their terms and get you to give into that spirit of the wolf that's just going to keep causing more division. One of the worst things you can do is to respond when emotions are high. Like Breck was talking about, impulsively firing back a comment or throwing out your standards and the things that you have to say that are so important to get said. Instead of impulsively doing that when you're in the heat of the moment and your emotions are high, it's so much better to take some time and just breathe through it, think about it, really examine what you're going to say. And I think for me, it's really important for me to look at the spirit inside of me, like Breck was talking about, that feeling of angst and frustration in your chest. If that feeling is there, that's usually a good indication that now is not a time to say something. And you should take a little bit more time so that you can come at it from a place of love. And when you can really envision that person as a real person with their own traumas and their own issues, and you can lovingly speak those words to that person, that's a time that you can go ahead and leave your comment. But don't get bullied into immediately responding or taking sides on an issue, because that's just a tactic to distract you. It's not going to help anything. It's just going to create more division.
That's right. And so if we're wanting to combat this spirit, but we're not supposed to be confronting it, what are we supposed to do? I think the answer is forgiveness. Forgiveness is key, because a fight can never be resolved and unity restored if you don't have forgiveness. You can never fully heal yourself if you won't forgive others, and you won't forgive yourself. The healing can't take place under those circumstances. Wolves feed on the confrontation, as I've already said. They don't feed on forgiveness. Forgiveness is the antidote. It neutralizes the spirit of the wolf. And when there's nothing left for the wolf to feed on, the wolf will flee.
Remember, the wolf is not a person. It's not any group of people. So even though it can feel in the moment like this person is your enemy, they're not your enemy. Remember, they are your family. We want to support our family, and we want to help those people to overcome their own spirit of the wolf and help them find the way back to love, unity, harmony, and inclusiveness. And if we can set the example and be the ones to forgive first and be the ones to extend love and grace and forgiveness, quite frequently they're going to respond really well also. No one person can solve this problem in the fiber community by themselves. That's why we need to do this together. We need unity. If we try to do this alone, wolves are just going to keep picking off the sheep one by one until nobody is left except a few bitter souls who would rather find something to be outraged over and continue eating away at themselves than to contribute anything of beauty or value to the world. The other thing you can do is to share this video with every person in the fiber community that you know, especially if they have online interactions. This is great for just any area of your life, really. This crops up not just in the fiber community, but in your workplace, in your home life, in your families, in your neighbors, everywhere. And we've been talking a lot about this in our home and how we can continue to see this as an attitude that we just need to overcome in ourselves, and other people are fighting that as well. And that really helps us not to see each other as the enemy when we disagree over something, or our families or friends as the enemy. And so we really want you to share this video to help encourage people to unite in unity, in love, in truth, in beauty, and to really drive out these wolves in our sheep pen and just help us to come back to a really beautiful, loving community, and create a new community, better than we've ever had before, of people who support each other and a family that can really hold each other up and create gorgeous, beautiful things. Ignore people who would want to instigate mob mentality and promote disharmony. If you see people starting to pile on someone on a post, do what you can to resolve the situation, and don't get caught up in the fight. Remember to just keep pouring out love. If you see something good, pour out love and encouragement on that. Shine the light on that and promote it in the world. And don't give attention to the wolves and the mob mentality that's taking over. Promote as much good stuff as you can. Promote noble things: truth, beauty, love, harmony, positivity, joy, yarn, fiber, good things. You know, the things that we banded around and became a family over in the first place.
Another thing that is invaluable to know is the difference between justice and vengeance. Because there's a lot of people out there saying that they're fighting for justice, and who doesn't respect that? Justice is a noble virtue. We all want justice. But justice, while it may sometimes look like vengeance at first, they have some very different defining characteristics that it's important to note. Because you'll be able to tell if that person is really fighting for justice or if they're fighting for vengeance. Justice is marked by love, and it's tempered by mercy. That's often written in courthouses. Vengeance, on the other hand, it's ruthless, it's resentful, and it's never satisfied. Now, the final thing that I want to touch on is, it sounds a little trite, it sounds a little passé, I feel a little cheesy saying it actually, to be honest, but bear with me because I'm going somewhere with it. The final thing I want to say to you is to follow your heart. Now, the way humans are, humans follow their heart automatically. The thing is, what condition is your heart in? Because your heart is your center. Your heart guides you through your life. And if your heart is filled with these negative spirits that are constantly pulling at you and having a polarizing effect, it's going to destabilize you, and you're not going to be able to get a lot done. And what you do get done is oftentimes not very productive and oftentimes destructive. But if you feed the nobler spirits like love, truth, justice, altruism, these things restore that balance to your center, and they help you to walk that middle path through life without having to, without being pulled every which way by the polarizing effects of negative spirits.
So I hope that this has been really encouraging to you and not discouraging. My goal with this video was to help us to identify the problem and come up with practical solutions so that we can all take a hand in driving out these negative attitudes from first ourselves and then our community at large, so that we can further foster growth and love and harmony in our family. I really, really don't want this to ever be used as an excuse to ostracize any person in this community. No matter what they may have said or done, each and every person in this community is our family, and we want to promote their good, promote their beauty and their loving natures, and help them to turn away from the spirit of the wolf and join our community and be loving yarn ambassadors to the world. And we have to do that first with ourselves. So I really hope that this has been encouraging and has helped you feel empowered to not feel like you're just helpless and you're just sitting on the sidelines watching business after business go down or fight after fight break out between your fiber friends. I don't want to see that anymore, and I'm sure you don't either. So I just want to do what we can to continue to join together in harmony and in love. And I also want to extend special thanks to my husband Breck for his help on this. He did a lot of the thinking through of some of these issues and helping me sort through my thoughts and emotions on this topic so we could address this. And that's why I wanted us to do it together. He has a lot of valuable insight, and he was really, really helpful in getting me to calm down and walk through my thoughts unemotionally, and to not just dash off a quick video when I was feeling really stressed and angsty. And I think that this has been a really good video to share with you guys, and I hope that you'll find it encouraging as well. I also really want to thank each and every one of you who's already living a beautiful, loving life in our fiber community. I've had thousands of wonderful experiences with you beautiful souls. I've met so many wonderful people online at fiber festivals and yarn shows and yarn shops, and I am a richer person for knowing you all. I am so grateful for those of you who are already fostering love, harmony, who are turning away from fights, who are forgiving each other, who are sharing all of the good, beautiful things in this community and pursuing beauty and truth and justice. That is what I want as well, and I know that we have a bright future if we can just keep our focus on the good things that we want to pursue and putting energy towards those good things and not wasting our energies fighting each other. So thank you guys so much for giving this video a watch. Please share it with everyone you know in the community. It is now time for us to cast off. Love you.